This is eternal life, that they may know you, the only true God, and Jesus Christ whom you have sent.
Initially, men wanted machines that could allow them to solve two major problems: dealing with heavy and painful loads to reduce the risk of mortality and non-effectiveness in humans, and do the maximum of mechanical activities repetitive in a shorter and shorter time in order to gain more and reduce. It is the explosion of capitalism. If the machine was the extension of man in all his organs to solve his problems, I can say that robotics technology has also helped to solve several problems in humans. Yes, let's not overlook the fact that robotics has helped to make people talk about, again, failing and paralyzed people thanks to new technology that analyzes the electrical waves emitted by the brain to allow those who definitely cannot to express themselves. Robotics and medicine have teamed up to solve the problems of severed limbs by creating increasingly effective prostheses to allow humans to not lack any sensation about the loss of their former limb. This case was very sublimated with the idea of Mr. Oscar Pistorius, who was one of the first athletes to show the useful power of medical prosthesis from robotics. But now, are we not going too far? I know that since several countries have reached a certain level of development, they have begun to have problems that no longer have anything to do with hunger and primary resources. Humans, after conquering the seas, the undersides of the seas, the land, and the air, want to conquer the cosmos and time. You know, it's a terribly exciting challenge for humans. Conquer time. For the cosmos, I know that with technology it is possible because men are increasingly looking to go as fast as light, to travel at crazy speeds and reach the origin of the universe, because deep down we want to answer the dangerous question of why all this? Why this creation, and how did this creation begin? Where does all this come from? The Big Bang? Men want to solve this question so much. It is the thirst for answers that motivates them. But for the sake of time, it is something else entirely. It has nothing to do with our power. Whatever our thirst to know, to discover about the world, whatever our desire to unravel all the mysteries, God has given a clear limit of man today. It is the limit of the time. I really like the passage that will follow. Listen to yourself.
The time of our life? It's 70 years, at best, 80 years for the most vigorous. And their agitation is nothing but pain and misery. Because time flies by and we fly away.
Currently, for some, the body has become repairable to infinity. Limbs can be changed through the cultivation of human flesh in the laboratory. We can prevent ourselves from aging and persist in living each day longer by changing our organs. This is the logic of today's theme, transhumanism. But what is transhumanism at its core?
Transhumanism is an international cultural and intellectual movement advocating the use of science and technology to improve the human condition by increasing the physical and mental capacities of human beings and to suppress aging and death.
As I was explaining earlier, transhumanism uses particular means to pronounce itself. The definition is clear. It is a movement that wants to change human culture in its perception of the human being. Transhumanism uses three main means or arguments that I will quote and develop here. Please be very careful because this is a delicate subject to deal with. May God open your heart. Transhumanism comes from two different words. First of all, the word trans that has just transformed. It means moving, modifying, changing. It is associated with the word humanism to speak of the deep being of the human because of the ism. We can already guess that transhumanism wants to change man and make him become something other than man as we know him. Science has managed to develop by characterizing everything as data. For science, we can measure our feelings, our emotions, our ideas by an analysis of electric shocks or particular wave movements and turn it all into data that can be interpreted by experts. In sports, for example, you can easily see how the distribution of players' muscle mass is calculated to translate it into interpretable and replicable data. Because indeed, this is the interest of transforming a set into data. It is to interpret it, understand it, and especially to replicate it. Transhumanists therefore believe that the human soul is replicable if it manages to be translated into encrypted and unstable data on a medium. Transhumanists believe that you can download the soul from your body as a simple word, file, and transfer it to a computer where there is a program capable of reading it in order to give you back a totally technological life and plunge you into eternity. For them, since this is possible, it means discovering how the soul is made, how to replicate it indefinitely, modify it, improve it, and control it.
Et vous, pensez-vous, comme certains experts, que l'homme pourrait devenir immortel à brève échéance?
I just want you to know.
I love you, Mommy and Daddy.
I know you do, sweetheart. And I'm going to ask you to take the filter off. Will you do that for me? I think I've been uncomfortable for a very long time.
We know.
I've been thinking ever since I was born that I don't belong in this body. Oh my God.
It's all right. It's really okay, darling.
I've been reading up on it. And I think I'm trans.
Oh, sweetheart. Oh, it's all right, darling. I swear.
It really is. Now look at us, we're fine. We're completely fine, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
And I know we might be a bit slow and a bit old, and this is going to be confusing for us, and we'll make a mess of it sometimes, but we love you. Hmm?
We love you. We absolutely love you. We always will. I mean, we don't need to rush. We've got lots of time to talk about this.
And if it turns out that we've got a lovely son instead of a lovely daughter, then we'll be happy.
No, I'm not transsexual.
Oh.
Is that not the word now?
But you said trans.
What did we call you then?
I'm not transsexual. I'm transhuman.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, they keep changing the words. I don't know the difference.
I don't want to change sex.
No, sure. We say gender now, don't we? I'm sorry.
I said I'm not comfortable with my body, so I want to get rid of it. This thing, all the arms and legs and every single bit of it. I don't want to be flesh. I'm really sorry, but I'm going to escape this thing and become digital.
What do you mean?
They say one day, soon, they'll have clinics in Switzerland where you can go and you'll sign a form and they'll take your brain and download it into the cloud.
And your body?
Recycled. Into the earth.
So you want to kill yourself?
I want to live forever. As information, because that's what transhumans are, Mum. Not male or female, better. Where I'm going, there's no life or death, there's only data. I will be data.
For them, since this is possible, it means discovering how the soul is made, how to replicate it indefinitely, modify it, improve it, and control it. And this is a satanic power that the devil deceived man with. This is a futile search, as we read in Psalm 90. It is so vain because long before the king will have already established all his influence on earth, and this quest will cease. Why is it so important for humans to make robots look like humans? Just because they want to acquire vanity and pride to have been able to reproduce human life. Because know it, despite the theory of evolution, which is only a theory by the way, science still fails to explain the miracle of human life and the existence of the Earth in our solar system. Remember that many wanted to do human cloning. It failed. By practicing maybe activities, by fasting, and by having a good lifestyle. But with global pollution in air, sound, and even food, internal organs tend to degrade and no longer function properly over time. This is why they believe that beyond the application of aid to rapid healing via the change of organs for those who really have it, the human being can certainly be augmented and performed even when he does not need it. Let me be clearer still. The institute in which I studied speaks of anthropotechnics of modified bodies. And in this conference, it is a question of speaking of prolonging man in his incapacities so that he is all-powerful and is never again limited by anything. Do you remember Dr. Octopus with his tentacles? If you want to take things far away from you without moving or do more than 10 things at once, that's actually what it's all about. You have been increased. If you want to see clearly in the dark as if it were daytime, or run at the speed of a cougar, or carrying a truck, that's what it's all about. Increase the human being to give him in the end from the inside as from the outside a phenomenal capacity to transcend his limits. Do not kid yourself because it is not without consequences. Since you have to lose a lot of your physical humanity to achieve that. You know, what makes a human is his soul and his spirit. So if your soul accepts these things, your humanity has long since left you. Generative medicine is the branch of medicine that studies the way to create organs of the human body in the laboratory in order to no longer be dependent on organ donors and save more life in a single year, for example. You are going to tell me, yes, it's really great. It's an incredible step forward. I will tell you yes, but also no, because it is on generative medicine that transhumanism is based to say that we can be transplanted permanently and suppress old age. That is when you are considering that as the second way used by transhumanists to claim that we can kill death. Old age is the final war of all humans on earth. Many who have not prepared well want to catch up and want to challenge time. Sometimes we want to be mistaken about youth by doing anti-aging treatments and cosmetic surgeries to stretch our skin, firm up our chest or muscles. All this to not accept that we are going towards death. It is the manipulation of the human genome that is the last argument in the attempt to suppress death by transhumanists. They want to touch man in his DNA and affect the mitochondria because they are responsible for the energy of cells and their life. Their aging certainly leads to the physical death of man without this one being able to do anything more than see himself die. But is it really a fatality? I studied this subject so deeply that I asked myself deep down, why do transhumanists need to create a movement to make propaganda around the idea of the end of death? I discovered three important things about this movement. Firstly, transhumanists are afraid of death. Yes, they don't know what's hiding after life, and they don't want to face it. But I assure you, if they could know, they would do anything to reverse the death of his seed. Moreover, transhumanists do not like the human. They want to qualify it as an imperfect thing, a decrepit thing, whereas even Einstein described the human body as an incredible autonomous machine whose no mechanism could be based on chance. I tell you, the transhumanists say they do this for the man, but they basically do it for themselves, not for you. Don't get caught in this useless trap. Finally, transhumanists hate God. They don't know Him. They want so much to dominate Him, to subjugate Him, and that's why they want to destroy His machine. But one thing is certain, they will all die, and we will all die, and those who will not die or wish to die must know how to do it, because I give you the solution. It was a pleasure to be with you during this video. Do not hesitate to follow us on each of our platforms, on Facebook, on YouTube, on BitChute. Remember to stay always focused on yourself and certainly on the kingdom, because the kingdom is for you and the kingdom was built and imagined by God for you. Remember that we have the second part of that video on the next Thursday. I greet you with all my love. Let us see at the top where eagles are living and where eagles are flying. You are blessed. Bye-bye.